Y'all, I don't know if the camera is crooked or not, but that's what you're getting, y'all. The world is crooked right now. So this is just symbolism
of the world being uncrooked.
It's a metaphor.
I like it. I like it.
So this is crooked.
I know.
Maybe, I don't know.
And I changed my outfit from last video. I have a purple headband on.
Oh yeah, she totally changed 100%. Instead of black headband, it's purple. So
purple one.
Different.
So different. I love that jacket on you though.
Thanks.
Such a lesbian jacket.
Thanks.
Do you agree? Do you guys agree?
I do.
So what we're gonna do today, so there was an iconic interview / a touch more / episode of their reality show or interview show.
More than a touch.
Oh my goodness.
A touch longer.
A touch longer of Touch More with Megan and Sue. And they interviewed Diana Taurasi and her wife Penny Taylor, which I will be honest, I didn't know much about. Actually, let's go for it. I don't really know much about Diana Taurasi at all. Sarah barely knows who the woman is.
I don't know much about anything these days.
So I'm glad this happened because A, got me to know Diana Taurasi a lot more. I mean, I've known her because she's such an iconic name in women's basketball. I've always known the name. I remember when she was at UConn. I just know her. She's an icon, but I've never followed WNBA or women's basketball. But I'm glad we watched this, or I watched it because now I know a lot more about her. I know about Penny Taylor. I didn't know anything about her.
I love that name, Penny Taylor.
Such a cute name.
That's a name from the 60s. That's like Penny Lane.
Penny Lane is in my eyes, in my ear.
Is that the words?
So I'm glad that this interview happened. Like Sarah said, it was not a touch more. It was 4 freaking hours.
Yes, it was.
It was 4 freaking. So I started watching the interview on the Instagram. Then their connection was pretty bad. So I kind of gave up a little bit, and I was like, okay. So I was like, okay. Then somebody a little later on said, oh my God, their interview lasted 4 hours. I was like, what? No. 4 hours?
Iconic.
Because I remember after I stopped watching the interview and then I started editing a video, I was like, oh, it's probably off by now. It's not, I can't go back, but apparently it wasn't.
Well, I went on Instagram at like midnight and they were still on.
You didn't tell me that!
Oh, because I thought you gave up.
Oh, well, I didn't. I have clipped a lot of clips. I've probably clipped, hold on. I've clipped like 15 clips, we'll say. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I think I'm gonna make this in 2-part video. We're gonna do the first 7 clips on this video and the next 7 on another video. So I'll post part 2. The day we post this, probably the next video we post will be part 2. And like I said, these are gonna be us reacting to these clips. The clips, there's a million clips, but these were the clips that I thought these clips mostly had to do with either Megan and soccer or a relationship. I didn't put a lot of clips if it was just like Sue and Diana talking basketball because we don't really know anything about that. Look out for part 2, and this is just clips. It was 4-hour video, so I just made the clips that I wanted, and I watched the whole video so far. Sarah hasn't watched any of it. So.
No, I have not.
And the clips are just gonna start in random places. It was literally, I think we're gonna start out with their bicker of the week, Sue and Megan's bicker of the week.
We love a good bicker of the week.
And we're gonna mostly react to the end, but if there's not a lot of reacting, we might not say a lot, but you know.
We might not say a lot.
We might not.
That with an accent.
Here is their bicker of the week.
Okay.
And here we go.
Really quick, do a bicker of the week and then get Diana on here.
Let's dive right into that because
we had a fight, guys.
Didn't we have a big one this week?
Sure did.
So a real one.
We've had
legit
some bicker. This was like a
voice raised
both go in
fight.
timeout fight.
Yeah.
So, as you guys know, your experience, our Wi-Fi is like not amazing.
Not great.
And it actually, the way this apartment is set up, there's
in
like
the back room.
Yeah, there's like a back and then there's like a bedroom. It doesn't work the minute you leave. So it's just this area. And something very popular right now is to be on a lot of Zoom calls, FaceTimes, IG Lives, you name it. So, without going into too much detail, we only have a couple minutes here. Basically, I feel as if Megan is hogging this area and not paying attention to when I might be here as well. And then the one time where we were both in the area, she was doing like a interview series, and I was doing
Shout
an
out
IG
my
Live.
team. Love you guys.
I was doing an IG Live, and it was just kind of like, listen, we're both gonna be on, and it's like, it is what it is. Like we're both gonna be on. We're both gonna be in the back.
I snapped at her one time, literally.
No.
Like
during the
like
IG
it
Live.
was like if this was my hand went off the screen
camera
on the live, and I was like,
gave me the.
I didn't obviously mean it as a snap,
And I was just
that
like,
was a few
ignore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've been holding that in.
Which I'll get to that part.
So that was our fight. If I were to nutshell it, is that fair? So I felt as if, and then Megan felt like, well, if you need the space, you should tell me. Is that like a fair? Like,
yeah,
you
no,
can't read my mind
it all
on
got
when I
pent
need
up.
it.
It got pent up, and she was doing her video in the back room because apparently I was hogging the front room, even though I didn't know she needed it.
You were
and then
hogging it just like
I also
FaceTiming
went-
to your friends. It wasn't even like a thing.
true.
Don't
I
get me
also
wrong, if you
went-
had a thing.
That's
Okay, you
true.
go, you go.
I also went back, and I didn't really know exactly what was going on, but I went to the bathroom, flushed the toilet. That fucked up the video. I didn't know that. So then she came
I was
out,
doing a
and
video,
I was
she
like,
flushed the toilet.
I was trying to figure out, like, is she? I could tell she's pissed. Is she pissed because of the video? Is she pissed?
I had to do it over.
I don't know
Nipple.
why.
Nipple lip.
Cheers.
Did you think every time someone says nipple?
Anyway,
Apparently,
I was like,
for this
listen,
one.
if you need the front room, you need to tell me. I don't know exactly when you need, what you need, and all the time. I didn't know.
I know. You didn't know.
You let it build up.
In the moment, I didn't want to hear that you
You
didn't
are
know.
the most considerate person in the world. I'm not.
No. I wouldn't say you're
I
not
just,
considerate.
I'm more flighty.
No, yeah, you just kind of like live, and I'm like way more in my head.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Anyways, it was a raised voice. We had to take a minute. I felt like it took 2 days to recover. Sue said it took 1. We'll just leave it at that. We're fine.
We're
now.
fine.
We're fine now.
We kissed.
We're fine.
That is so funny because that's so relatable. I will say, the day they were doing those 2 lives together, I remember Megan was doing re-ink and Sue was doing something. I remember watching those and thinking, I can hear Sue, I can hear Megan in each other. And I was thinking that at the time. I was like, I can hear Sue. So I know what they were talking about. You could just hear each other. You could mostly hear Sue though, because her voice carried more than Megan's carried. But they got in a fight, first like real raised voice fight. But that's true. That's about the communication. Sue needed to tell Megan what she was feeling when it was bothering her, and she didn't. She let it be pent up, which is never good.
No.
Then it came out.
Yeah. It's like a movie. What was I going to say? Communication is key in any relationship.
Yeah.
Don't let anybody tell you otherwise.
You know what Sara and I are actually really good about now, and we're not going to talk about this club, but this club I think is interesting, is Sara and I, when she's feeling something, I know something is like, Sara, I know something's bothering her. I just go, Sara, tell me what's wrong. Let's figure it out. Just tell me you're feeling weird. I can tell. And we're really good about hammering things out. Sometimes she'll be like, I'm not ready or whatever. And then I go, okay. But I can tell when something is bothering her. She can tell when something's bothering me.
And usually we resolve it right away.
We do. We've gotten so good about saying, let's talking about it. And like they said, it's, first types of really big fights, you do take a day or 2 to kind of process everything that was said and done. Yeah. But that was a quarantine fight, definitely, because if they weren't in quarantine, they probably wouldn't have that fight. Because, but I remember that day. So that was their quarrel of the week.
But also, why don't they have better internet? Don't they have money?
I know. I'm telling you, these people with like really fancy houses or even like nice apartments, they have horrible internet.
Yeah.
Just like Crashland had horrible internet.
What's up with that?
Yeah.
Like they don't have
maybe they have
few extra dollars to.
No, they have so many gadgets it interferes with the internet. Or too much bandwidth being taken. So the next clip I'm going to do, this is, so we don't really, and I'm not really reacting to like introducing Diana or whatever, but we're just talking about Diana and her wife have been married for a long time. And
Cool.
they're asking if Diana's having any bicker of the weeks with her wife.
All right, let's get into that.
And here we go.
Yes,
So we
brought
just
up Cheney.
we just shared our bicker of the week.
Yeah,
We've
we
been
call it the
having
bicker of the week.
bickers of the week.
You know that little shit.
These little fights. What are your guys' bickers?
Yeah, what's your, give us
Well, my
one.
big thing is like, so I usually do the laundry. Penny usually cooks. Penny does everything. We kind of, we're havies on everything.
Penny does everything. We're happy.
She always leaves tissue in her sweats.
No.
Oh,
And I'm like,
No.
why can't
That's
you
a
take
tough
the
one.
tissue out
That's a
of
problem.
before I put it in the washer? And she's like, well, why can't
Yeah.
you go through the pockets? I'm like, well, why can't you go through your pocket before you put it in
Yeah.
the
That's a good one. I actually
Like, I
found
don't
an
get
index
it.
card in my sweatpants today. Like
Index
a
card.
index card. I was like,
index card.
It's random.
So that's
So
that's
I feel
an
you, Penny.
ongoing one.
that's a good
Yeah,
one.
but
That's
I
funny.
mean, this week we were pretty good.
That is funny. Whose side are you on? Do you, before you put things in the wash, do you take them
Yes,
out?
take them out.
Or as the washer, should you always check the pockets? That's the question.
I mean, I feel like you should check them, but one time I ran my chapstick recently.
Yeah.
I forgot to check my pocket.
Yeah.
That was my bad. But usually, and you usually have a lot. You like have change in your pockets.
Like I just
A lot
show
of
things in
weird
my pocket.
stuff.
Yeah. So I think it's the person who's washing is responsible to go through the pockets, but the person who takes them off also. I think it's a dual effort.
Yeah, I usually don't have anything in my pockets, but I always like to check. Well, I usually have chapstick, but my routine is always to take the chapstick out right when I get home.
And a lot of times the problem isn't the washing machine, it's usually the dryer. A lot of times, other than tissue probably doesn't go with the washing machine. But
no, my mom used to wash tissue all the time.
Did she?
On accident. She would have like tissues in her pockets and it would come out in the washer or the dryer with like the lint trap or something.
Oh my god. And the other thing was, I love how Dana and Sue pointed this out. We're habbies. Penny does everything. Penny does everything. So he's like, so basically not having it. I love it. Hey, at least she's kind of honest / kind of sees, that her wife does so much.
You're kind of the Penny. Like you've been doing, I feel bad because I was like working on writing, like, so I was like in my shell in my bubble. Yeah. So you were like hardcore doing everything. You were cleaning, doing the dishes, editing, researching. Oh my god, she put all this together.
But thanks for being a good co-host.
Lazy legend.
No,
good.
She's working hard. She's working hard. Okay, so here's the next video. And I don't really know what these are, but we're just going to keep going down the list. I just think these are good moments. Some are short and some are longer. Okay, and here we go.
This is hard though. Like this whole working out.
Oh, working.
No, it's awful.
Oh, was there a joke in there? This whole working out. It's like every day I'm kind of like, yeah, this is great, and I'm like, what am I working out for?
Yeah.
What am I doing this for?
It's like
I'm doing it for my health, and then
it's like these ebbs and flows. Like, so 3 days ago I was like Apple Music, Dr. Dre Essentials. I was in there like killing myself, and then yesterday I was like piano essentials, and I was just like fan words.
Well, I think we know the difference there.
And then today I was in the
Dre every
Peloton. So Penny was in the front yard, and I was in the Peloton, and I yawned like 45 times in a row. She was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Just go to sleep." I was like, "Oh."
You need that extra oxygen.
I love that.
I need some extra wine.
Peloton. I'm having a situation with Peloton because
Megan's not feeling.
You don't like it?
No, she likes
it's
it.
just like I suck at it. Like I'm bad. And I get
good or bad.
that's what I was trying to say. It's like
you're little, like it's all based on
until you have other scores that you're comparing with. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm an elite athlete. I'm a multiple-time champion. I should be able to do better, and I can't.
Multiple-time champion.
I feel like
Bring that up to highlight the fact that I'm so shit on the Peloton.
I feel like whatever you do, you always look up. So I'm like, okay, what am I doing? And then I look at like, I don't know, our strength and conditioning coach from UConn. And the same ride, I'm hitting like 350, she's in 650. And I'm like, well, what the fuck is she doing?
Some people are just like,
literally.
Yeah. No, Hootie, I would never compare myself to anything.
I'm like
fitness-related.
15,000th out of 20,000 people.
Can I tell you what I think to myself? This is exactly what I think to myself. Yeah, it'll be like 11,000 out of, that's me. This is exactly what I think to myself when I'm riding the Peloton. I'll be like, Hootie's going to kick my ass.
This is straight cut.
Like, whoever's going to, Brad, shout out Brad, has better scores than me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but can you chase me in floppy? Probably not.
That's so interesting to think of. Like Megan says, she gets like almost like discouraged. Like she's an elite athlete, a World Cup champion, yet she's at the 20,000 bike riders. She's coming in 15,000. 75% people are beating her.
That's crazy.
But just like Sue said, just because you're an elite athlete doesn't mean these might all be bike riders that are
right.
You know,
they all might be Lance Armstrong.
Yeah, exactly.
All cheaters.
When I look at like what Sara always says, like baseball players are elite athletes, but Sara always makes fun of baseball players because they are a lot of times fat and out of shape.
I don't mean to fat shame the baseball players, but it's just funny. It's ironic that
they're elite
athletes.
Like, they have bellies. There's this iconic video of Pablo Sandoval. He used to play for the Giants, and he went to go swing his bat, and his belt just popped off.
Talk about a moment.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. And people would always say he has to lose weight. You're an elite athlete. But so I could see where Megan's just like, I suck at it. Like almost like, I don't want to do this. I suck at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's funny though.
I think it's so funny. So and relatable.
But I mean, she's a soccer player. She's not a bicyclist or whatever.
And I think a lot of people who do Peloton are probably bike riders to begin with. Not everyone, but I think.
Or they're like spin class masters.
Yeah. They're not necessarily.
What are you doing in Peloton? You just literally just go like this?
Yeah, but there's like sometimes you stand up and you. Oh, okay. Sometimes they.
So it's like a spin class, kind of.
Yeah, I believe so. Let us know, but I believe that's the way it's structured. Because you think about, but if you're a elite athlete, you think you should be the best, but that's not true. So Megan, don't get discouraged. You're still the World Cup champion, like 3 times. Okay, this is actually one of my favorite clips. It gets a pretty short clip. There's another long clip, but it's kind of talking about where they kind of really got to talking at the 2016 Olympics is where they kind of met and started their relationship. I guess this is Diana saying to Sue what she knew what was going on. Okay.
You know, it's so funny about that. You two were talking at a tall table, and I know Sue so well. And I came over and I was like, Sue, step away from the table right now.
Yeah, that
I was like, leave the table right now. I didn't know much about you, Megan. Like, I mean, you know, it was 2016. It was, you know, it was,
a lot was happening. We was early.
like, you know,
No, I got warned.
And I was like,
My
good
friend
you
Kate.
need to leave that table right now. You need to leave that girl alone. Because before that, I went and asked.
All you said though was, "Get away from the table," and I said, "Okay." And then about 5 seconds later, I was like, "Man, I'm back."
Yeah.
And she's back.
I so did. I was like, man.
Yeah, you were like,
go.
"Get away from that table."
But like, why? She didn't want him to hook
I
up?
don't know. Like maybe she just thought it wasn't the place, and it wasn't. She didn't want her to get overly
Into a
obsessed with
relationship.
somebody, or she didn't want to get overly. Yeah, that's a good point. Like, go ahead. Maybe
I
because
think it's funny though.
you always have to watch out for your girls too. Like, you know what I mean? You just be like, okay, I don't know if that right now. You don't want someone to go all into something right now.
Oh yeah, like she might fall too hard.
Yes!
Or whatever.
She might fall too
quick.
hard too quick. Because I think in 2016, it's interesting, Diana said she didn't know too much about Megan. But I mean, everyone knows the name Megan Rapinoe, whether you know a lot about her, but everyone knows that name. I'm telling you, anyone in the sports world knows that name. And
She
we're not
is
getting into the thing.
obsessed.
But that's where the love blossomed at that table. And Diana saw it and said, I would say, girl, go get your girl because she's the number one athlete in her sport. You're a number one athlete in our
snatch her
sport.
up.
Go snatch. Exactly. One of the most high-profile gay athletes. Okay, so I think this next clip is a little bit longer. I think it's talking more about that. Or actually, I don't know, but this next clip is a little bit longer. So, and here we go.
She's cool.
She's cool. Okay,
We tried.
So Megan, what's been your favorite team you've played on that hasn't won first place in any tournament you played on?
This is your go-to. It's a good question though.
Oh man, favorite team.
That you haven't won a gold medal or won first in the Diamond, the People Cares Cup.
People Cares Cup, PPC. No, People's Care, PCC.
I love that.
Is that an inside joke? Because that's
No, that's not an
just
inside joke.
fucking funny.
She just came up with that now. Fucking hilarious. People Cares Cup.
It's got to be like club team. It's got to be like it was like 2014, 15 club years. Like we were so good. We literally fucking crushed everyone. We were undefeated. I think we had like one tie in 2014. Killed everyone. Lost in the final. Tragic. Fuck you, Lauren Cheney and Blacko and A-Rod and everybody. 2 years in a row. Yeah, it was bad. Yeah, they've been 2 years in a row.
Best player you've ever played against?
Oh, Marta. Not even. It's
Really?
Yo, you remember?
It's
In
Crossbar.
2004,
That's
speaking
right.
of, we went to the final.
It's a hands down.
We were like 11.
Crossbar.
You were 11?
Yeah. We
Yeah.
went to the final in
Yeah.
Greece. That was the best. I mean, listen, when you go to a game and there's like a lot riding on it, it's always going to be good. That game, Brazil was just like cha-cha on them.
That was probably
They were just dancing all over us. And like, thank God we
2004
won.
or
Crossbar
8 was their best team, but
No, 2004.
I think
they were
2004 was their best
literally
team.
salsa
Yeah.
dancing with the ball
Yeah.
on the field,
Oh,
and we were like,
it was
holy
insane.
shit.
Marta is like so much better
Wow.
than anyone.
Wow,
There's like
really?
players, of course, like I would say like I don't know, like Katie Smith. Was it Katie Smith?
You have a Katie Smith too?
No, Kelly Smith.
Oh,
She's
okay.
like Katie Smith. Kelly Smith from England, left footer, midfielder.
Oh, I
fucking
like
baller.
I like
She
her.
was a dog too. Like she was just like crazy and like had this
Brazilian?
weird switch. No, she was an English player.
She
Amazing.
played for
Like
Chelsea, right?
No, but that final. She played for
What?
Chelsea?
She played for Chelsea, right?
I think she's at Arsenal.
Mm.
I don't
Arsenal.
think she's
She's a
yeah.
gunner. She's a gunner.
Yeah, she's a gunner. Like Birgit Prince was dope. I mean, there's players now, but like Marta's like literally like so much
good.
better than all of us at any time.
Really?
Like her foot
She was
skills,
so
amazing. Her speed, amazing. Her like goal scoring, her ability to take
I
over a game. She was
know.
just like everywhere all the time. Oh, she's like so much better than anyone.
So every time I watch Brazil play soccer, this is more on the women's side. I mean, the men are really good, whatever. No one cares about them. They're the classic, just run out of talent.
They just like
You
run.
mean like $1 million move? $1 million move, 10-cent
Yeah.
finish.
Run out
Yeah.
of talent. It's like that
Yeah.
one baller, that can do all the dribbling shit. And
Yeah,
then
$1 million
run out
move.
of
Yeah.
talent.
$1 million move, 10-cent finish.
It's actually unfortunate about Brazil. I feel like 2004 and 2008 in particular, those two Olympics and like the World Cup's kind of in between. Marta was in her prime. Cristiano was in her prime. Formiga, unbelievable. They had another forward. I'm fucking forgetting her name. So they were just like phenomenal, but they just like have such a lack of resource. They never they never trained enough. They never like were just like together enough to like get it fucking together. They were never paid. They never had the resource. Blah, blah, blah. Those two teams, 8 and 4, were like ridiculous. I mean, you guys saw it in 4.
Yeah.
And then
They're so
2008 again, it was just like they were never like fit enough because they were never
I feel like
training
we
enough.
scored and it was like, whew,
Oh
thank
man.
God.
Who's the best American player ever?
Okay.
Ooh.
Question.
Michelle Akers with the mullet.
Nipple. You gotta drink when someone says nipple. You already know. You came in hot with that.
Oh
See,
man.
She hasn't been on Instagram, folks, but the motherfucker's been on Instagram.
She knows. She
She
knows.
knows.
I think. Oh man, this is so
She's
hard.
fingering the pulse at all times.
Right in there.
So we're gonna get to the next clip, who the best player is, but I thought that whole clip was kind of interesting. That the way they talk about Marta, or the way they talk about Brazil soccer / Marta, I just thought that was so interesting because, like you said, during the clip, the fact that if they would have had the resources, the training, the opportunity in Brazil, the money,
Right.
they could have been the most dominant team of all time.
Imagine what they could have done.
Imagine what they're, and that's kind of the sad part about it, especially when you think of Brazil being such a soccer heavy nation, but not giving those resources to the women, even though you have the best women's player of all times right in your fingertips, but not giving them the money to train, to have anything. It makes me so sad.
Yeah, that's awful.
And upset, because it shouldn't be like, especially in a powerhouse. No, I got emotional.
Oh my gosh, sir.
Especially in a country that is so soccer rich and has the money for the men and brings in so much resources. You can't give any of those resources to the women. I think it's disgraceful, and I think it's disgusting.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Don't you?
I want like an explosion.
I know, right? I wish I could edit.
Wow.
What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you.
I mean, to think about how much resources they have, obviously, I don't think Brazil is like overall a very rich country, but they have money for men's soccer.
Yeah.
And the way,
some money for the women.
yeah, and you don't, and I mean, I've heard other people talk. I think I heard Alex Morgan saying her favorite female player of all time is Marta. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She's a legend.
I know. I wish I was into more soccer back then, because we see Marta now on Instagram. She's always singing. She's always
She's funny.
living life. I think she lives in Florida for a lot. Well, she plays for the Pride, but I think she year round might live in Florida. But to have Megan talk about that, it means a lot. Like, yeah, in Brazil, you want this. I think this is what the female women want. They want every team to have the best training, the best resources. Then they want to beat the best.
So
of the
it's
best.
equal.
Yes.
So it's,
Because the women, the American women, they don't want to go up against a bunch of teams that don't have resources, who might be better than them, but they just don't have anything. That's not fun.
they want the challenge. They want to win because,
it's not because they have more training or more money. It's because they're
the best.
equal.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
And that's what the women want. The next clip, I think, is when she answers the question,
Okay.
who's the best player.
Yeah, I can't wait to see.
So Dana Trozzi says maybe Michelle Akers, which we'll see if Pinoe agrees.
So you didn't answer my question.
Yeah, best player.
I think it is Michelle Akers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You
I
think
think
so?
she
Physically?
was so well rounded, so ahead of her time, so dominant. I mean, Mia Hamm, unbelievable. Like Abby, unbelievable goal scorer.
Right.
For me, Lauren Cheney was one of the most talented players
Shout
we
out
ever
Cheney.
had. Shout out Cheney. Like
So
Yeah,
that's,
game just gotta
that's
be
your
played
Katie
today.
Smith.
Mrs. Holiday. I mean, she was ridiculous. She never even got to like play her best position. She was
So that to me,
unbelievable.
so something I cannot relate to in
yeah.
soccer is the whole concept of you're fucking amazing
Yeah.
at right wing. You're amazing at it. But there's someone who's like really good at it and we need them on the field. So because you're so amazing and you're really good at all the positions, we're gonna move you to left back because we need both of you on the field.
Crystal.
And that person
Shout out Crystal.
I was
talking
making
about
positions.
Crystal Dunn.
I am.
Well, but like I cannot
I am
relate
this
to that.
thankful for
It's
Crystal
like
Dunn.
you have to
Yeah.
keep your best players on the
Yeah.
field,
Yeah.
but like you're not always going to have your best players in their best position.
Yeah.
That is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
I can't
Do
relate to that.
do you mean like having Stewie play the 3?
Talking basketball.
Well, that doesn't. Well, and that is why you don't see that.
Yeah.
And that is why that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I was just checking to see if that's where.
That's
I know the numbers.
exactly
Oh, did you?
what I'm saying.
And let's keep it real. Hope was one of the best players.
No, Hope's a G.
Man, Hope was just off the chain, huh?
No, I'm saying that
Motherfucker
game
was
was on
good.
today. Their 2015
But we'll just leave it at that.
smashing of Japan was on today.
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, Japan was just happy, huh? They were just happy to be.
I don't think so.
You
No,
think
they
were-
fucking won the World Cup in 2011. They were like coming in here thinking they could win.
Okay, so they're talking about, I was like, Japan was just happy to game, but Japan's amazing. Okay, so the last thing they talked about was Hope Solo. There's some people on Instagram who maybe thought that was kind of shade.
Throwing shade.
I kind of read the clip in the full context. I didn't read it as shade.
No, I didn't. No,
I read it like Hope Solo. That's it. Those are the people I'm choosing. That's
Yeah.
it. No more
I
discussion.
agree with you. Totally.
I didn't really read it as shade. It could have been shade.
You can't deny that she wasn't an amazing player.
Yeah,
She
right.
was a boss ass bitch.
But I think people on Instagram were saying she was the best, but personally maybe they didn't get along. Which I think they did get along. Who knows? But I did not read that as shade at all. But it could be. But I didn't read it as it. But
we did not need an umbrella. I don't. Just kidding.
I had to think about that
Shade,
joke.
I don't know.
Oh, I didn't think it. So they first started talking about Michelle Akers being the best all-around player. I wish I knew more about it. Michelle, I know her, but I don't know her. So back in the day, I mean, and if they say she's amazing, she probably was amazing. Pinoe says it, and then they talk about. She says Lauren Cheney was one of the most talented ever, and I mean, so she's a Lauren Cheney. I love that. Then they talk about Crystal Dunn and her famously having to change. She had to adjust to D-left. So what Sue said, other sports, it happens in some sports, I will be honest, but to think about that's just a given in soccer, that you're going to be amazing at one position, but we need you at another position. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Especially since, think of it, it's like being, like she said, it doesn't happen in basketball. It does happen in baseball, I will say. Some baseball players, they can only play in the outfield. One can play right, one can play center, and there might be someone so good they can actually play center or left, but they have to switch because another person can only play right field.
Yeah.
That famously happened with A-Rod and Derek Jeter when they both joined the Yankees. They both played either shortstop. So A-Rod had to switch to third base so Derek Jeter can still play shortstop. So that happens in baseball, which is kind of common. Sometimes even in baseball, people will go to first base. They always say first base is the easiest field position to play.
Are we a baseball channel?
Sorry. I know my fault.
Sidetracked.
So it does happen, but like they said, in some sports to have that happen, it's just crazy that you're not the best. But that's why we love Crystal Dunn so much. She is amazing. She can do it all. Like, you put her on the field, she makes things happen. We're gonna do a couple more clips.
Okay.
Then we're gonna do part 2 of the video. Here's another clip.
I'm gonna change it up for you guys.
Hey, put some NXS on for
This is good.
I know.
Okay.
I was just gonna go.
You're
I was
gonna
actually
love
gonna
this
Google Australian shit.
NXS.
Oh my god.
Great. Well, you know what? Why did you do that with that?
The thing was too big.
That's literally us. That would be nice. Spilling things.
No, what both of us, I might do it. Sue was so unimpressed with that. Oh wait. Sue was like, had to keep her cool too.
Yep. Still my whole thing. Alright, you guys got your Mophie?
Okay, that's pretty much the clip. But Sue is she was just like, oh my god, she had to keep her cool. And Penny joined the conversation. They came inside and Penny joined the conversation for that clip. When the whole thing popped off, that was bad. What if it landed on their MacBook or something, or their laptop?
Yeah.
Okay, here's another short clip. I don't know what it is, but here we go.
You have no concept.
You and the
Megan, they're just like hurling nipples at you
Oh.
because they think you're wasted. All these people.
Okay, everybody, relax.
No.
Yeah, okay, well, you pin nipple, so there's that.
Well, that was a joke.
But no, I mean, people just don't understand. Like, that's what I was asking about.
Okay, so I just thought the clip was so funny because relax everyone, especially because like she was getting hyped up about. She was talking about something. She was getting hyped up. Sometimes I'll be like that. I'll talk about something and I'll get legit hyped up. But she was like, but as we'll say at the very end of the clip, I think she does get kind of drunk.
A little bit.
But hey, it's okay. You go on for 4 hours. That's what happens.
And you say nipple a lot.
There's another clip. Not sure what it is, but here we go.
It was after my injuries. I'd come back, but still wasn't back to where I wanted to be. And I went to China, and it was for 3 months. And the first game, I played alright, had some assists, had 10 points or something. And they sit me down, and we won. So I was like, cool.
Just talking about her experience.
They sat me down. They said, no, you're not going to pass the ball. You're going to shoot it every time you touch it. You need to get 40 points. Like, okay.
40. Wow.
That's the new reality.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so
I'll
it was
just get those other 30. No worries.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
so it's a whole different expectation.
It
And
is
that's
different.
when you go overseas, you improve because you have to, and you're forced to in that
Yeah.
position.
And not only that, when you get paid a lot of money,
Yeah.
it's fucking different.
Yeah.
In the WWE,
Yeah.
you get paid shit.
That's
when you
right.
go overseas and you're the dumb data
Or-
and you get paid a lot of money, you got to go out there and fucking ball out.
Yeah.
And that's why
I
when
feel
I see
like,
players,
yeah.
when I see players go overseas and they shit the bed, they're paying you millions of dollars. You better ball the fuck out.
ball
I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
you better ball out.
Like,
It's
I'm not
true.
with that whole American, Australian, they go over there and bullshit.
No.
Americans don't care. When I would take that plane ticket over to Russia, I'm like,
You know what you were doing.
This is it right now.
Well, when
Yeah.
you would take us
My time.
shopping, when we would go shopping right before the Final Four, remember we'd go back to our room with I don't know, a couple watches, some fucking whatever we picked out, and it was
Yeah.
well, I guess we gotta win now.
Right?
That's the experience.
Yeah.
It was we're giving you this, you give us that.
Yeah.
Man.
No, there's just a sense of I feel like especially for female athletes, there's not a one place where you're this is where the best play and this is where the best is going to make their money.
That was kind of more of a serious clip, but I want to include it because it just shows they're not messing around. Especially, I think this is more applicable to basketball than it is soccer, because I think in basketball they might get paid more overall than soccer players.
Really?
But it's just you get the money. I think of Sam Kerr when I think of this, because she was given so much money. It's just there's not a question. You have to win. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You
have to be
can't-
the best.
You can't
No
not win.
questions.
And it's like that in pro sports for men, I think, too. And that's the one thing I actually think is fair. Men are expected to win in their pro sports. I don't think the expectation should be any lower for women
No,
if they're
wow.
given money. You know what I mean? That's why when Diana says you're given $1 million,
Do the damn thing.
you got to win. And I think sometimes sports commentators are they think, oh, you're too hard on those athletes. Well, no, if someone's given $20 million, especially in men's sports, you got to perform. But
It's just like any normal job. If you're paid a lot of money
yeah,
to do your job, you do
Yeah.
it right. You
Yeah.
do it good. You work hard to,
yeah.
to do it.
And Penny was giving her experience when she in China. They said, you scored 10 points and you won the game. No, not good enough. And that's reality for these professional athletes. And those, especially when they're not paid, you're not paid and then you're expected. That's when we're having another
Yeah.
conversation. But I thought that was an interesting clip.
Yeah.
So this is part 1 of our video. Look out for part 2. Will probably be tomorrow. I'm going to put out the next day, whatever day we put this out. We have about 10 more clips we're going to go over. And we're going to keep reacting because this interview was so in-depth. So
4 hours.
we learned so much about the players. It's a good introduction to Penny and Diana, because Sarah and I don't know a lot about Penny and Diana.
Mm-hmm.
But to see 4 professional athletes, 4 high-level athletes talk in a 4-hour sit-down thing, it's just so insightful to their brains.
Yes.
So look out for part 2.
Sure.
And these clips were great so far. Comment down below, what was your favorite clip out of these clips? Anything that you guys took from those clips in particular that stood out to you, put it down below. And we'll see you guys soon. Thanks,
She's cute.